It's worth remembering, though, that not every player that sticks in the NBA after training camp is on a path towards stardom. There are players that hang on for just a cup of coffee, and others who manage to endure their own poor play along the way to a surprisingly long career of mediocrity. In some cases, these players have been acquired through a high draft pick or signed to a lucrative contract, making their continued survival a product of the big investment placed on them. In other cases, they're very good at being large humans, which is a skill that can't be taught. Any basketball player who manages to make it through the world's top basketball league merits a pretty significant level of respect. But just as there are all-time great NBA players, there are all-time bad ones. Without further ado, here are the top 10 worst players in NBA history. Feel free to enjoy this list and those on it, but please keep in mind that they are all still so much better than you at basketball. Pete Chilcutt. Over his standout college career at UNC under Dean Smith, Pete Chilcutt forged his reputation on a clutch shooting stroke. That shot, however, only took him so far during a 9-year NBA career, where Chilcutt's lack of athleticism became a rather pesky problem. He bounced around 7 NBA teams and even won a title with the 1995 Houston Rockets, but the lanky power forward never averaged more than 6.1 points. Even his shooting stroke didn't quite translate to the pro game, as he finished his career with a 38.1% field goal percentage from deep. Nicolas Tskitishvili. No one better exemplified the league's fascination with mysterious incoming overseas talent than Georgia's Nicolas Tskitishvili, who was advertised as a 7-foot athletic stretch 4 when he was selected 5th overall by the Nuggets in the 2002 draft. Reports suggested that the Nuggets front office had never actually seen him play. And it's not as though his 6.6 points and 1.8 rebounds in 11 games with Benetton Treviso would have prompted a top 5 pick. We will never really know what all the fuss is about, particularly in light of Tskitishvili's career average of 2.9 points per game. Chris Gent. Chris Gent has only played in 6 regular season games in just 2 NBA seasons, 3 with the Houston Rockets, 3 with the New York Knicks. By some measures, Chris Gent can be considered one of the most successful players ever to set foot in the NBA. Consider his career in comparison to current NBA star Rudy Gay. Gent's NBA career spanned 2 years and included 37 total points, a plateau that Gay has exceeded 4 times over the course of a single game. And yet, Gent has 11 postseason appearances on his resume, compared to just 7 appearances in 9 NBA seasons for Gay. Remarkably, Gent played nearly twice as many playoff games as regular season games, 6 in a highly forgettable career. Oddly enough, Gent has some playoff experience. Gent played in 11 postseason games with the Rockets and won an NBA title by only sitting on the bench back in 1994. After his disappointing NBA career, he went on to join the Philadelphia 76ers in the 03-04 season as an assistant coach. The next season, he joined the Orlando Magic as an assistant coach, and then he was appointed as interim head coach for the final 18 games for the Magic. The head coaching record stands at 5-13. Keith Kloss. Played for the Los Angeles Clippers from 1997 to 2000. Kloss, being at 7'3", was a decent shot blocker, but he did have a poor work ethic. Kloss had an alcohol problem even before joining the Clippers in '97, and he put up 3 DUIs. Odds are, if you're 7'3" and athletic, you're gonna get a shot in the NBA. And if you're Keith Kloss, even a crippling, long-standing alcohol problem isn't going to stand in the way of a 3-year NBA career with the Los Angeles Clippers that included a 5-year, $8.5 million contract with the team. Kloss's unspectacular 130-game NBA imprint was made more notable by a checkered off-court history that included 3 DUIs and multiple clashes with Clippers coaches. Most notoriously, Kloss was the subject of a viral video in which he's seen being beaten up by a mob of people. The only positive thing about his basketball career is that he does hold the NCAA D1 record in block shots per game at 5.87. Rumor has it, Kloss still plays ball in different leagues around the world. Michael Ruffin. In the second season of his 9-year NBA career, Michael Ruffin averaged 2.6 points and 5.8 rebounds. Little did he know at the time that those numbers would go on to be the best that he could hope for as he settled into a primarily defensive role. Even so, Ruffin managed the rare and highly dubious achievement of wrapping up his career with more career personal fouls, 942, than points in total, 716. Credit Ruffin for continuing to forge on and find consistent employment, even though his everlasting legacy is probably being in the background of posters of better players. Bryant Big Country Reeves. It proved to be a pretty bad omen for the long-term well-being of the Vancouver Grizzlies that the first player acquired in franchise history was Bryant Big Country Reeves, a 7-foot Oklahoma farm boy taken 6th overall in 1995. Reeves, who spent his entire 6-year career with the Grizzlies, started off well enough to warrant a massive 6-year, $65 million extension on his rookie contract. However, injuries and a stunning lack of mobility limited him severely. By the time the Grizzlies moved to Memphis, injuries and rapidly dwindling play were already cutting his career short. Who knows, if they had taken Damon Stoudemire instead, maybe Vancouver would still have a place on the NBA map. Brian Scalabrine. Yes, the White Mamba. Drafted by the New Jersey Nets in the second round of the NBA draft in 2001. But it was in 2005 when the White Mamba signed with the Boston Celtics a 5-year, $15 million contract and went on to win an NBA title in 2008 while sitting on the bench and never playing in a single playoff game. But the team did consist of Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen, all of whom have retired. Pierce to retire at the end of the current season by signing with the Boston Celtics and retiring as a Celtic. Scalabrine moved on with the Celts and signed with the Chicago Bulls in the 2011-2012 season. Scal really never had the athletic body build to be at an NBA level. Scal would then follow in the steps of number 5 on the list in Chris Gent and went on to become an assistant coach for the Golden State Warriors in 2013. Scalabrine played for 3 different teams in his more than 10-year career. He averaged 3.1 points and 2 rebounds per game in 13.3 minutes overall. He was able to win an NBA championship with the Boston Celtics and tried to do the same with the Chicago Bulls. Scalabrine is currently an analyst with CSNNE for Celtics games and is working alongside with Celtics legend Tommy Heinsohn. Sun Yu. Picked 40th overall by the Los Angeles Lakers back in 2007, he wasn't signed until the next season in 2008. Yu's career highlight is when he committed 4 fouls and 2 turnovers in just 5 minutes facing the Milwaukee Bucks in one of the regular season games. After playing a little for the Lakers, he was then sent to the D-League before being waived by the team in 2009 after the NBA Finals. Yu does have an NBA title, and he is the first Chinese player with one. Left, 6'9", ball-handling 2 guards don't come along every day, so the Los Angeles Lakers figured that it might be worth using a second-round pick on the Chinese import, Sun Yu, in the 2008 draft. After looking somewhat competent in a short D-League stint, the Lakers offered Yu a platform to see what he could do with the purple and gold at the NBA level. It did not go well. Following a debut in which he collected 4 fouls and 2 turnovers in 5 minutes, Yu would go on to accumulate more fouls, 10, than points, 6, and as many turnovers, 3, as assists and steals combined. 10 games was all it took for the Lakers to realize that Yu simply wasn't an NBA player. Yu may not be a name people think of when they think of the NBA, but some people who are die-hard Lakers fans do know who Yu is and what he is known for. He then signed with the New York Knicks but was quickly waived. Yu currently plays for the Beijing Ducks. Cherokee Parks. Not much from Parks, although he does have the worst NBA name in NBA history. The Duke alum was drafted 12th overall by the Dallas Mavericks in 1995, but that hasn't lasted too long, as he went on and played for 7 NBA teams over his 7-year career. Oh, to be the agent for the oddly named Cherokee Parks, who somehow leveraged respectable college numbers at Duke. 12.5 points, 6.7 rebounds into the NBA career spread across 9 seasons and including 7 teams. This, despite an offensive game that saw him top out at 6.3 points per contest and a defensive game that saw him consistently beaten in the post by faster, stronger, and larger players. Since his game certainly didn't do the talking for him, Parks spent his pro career growing an impressive stash of tattoos all over his body, creating more of an eyesore than even his game ever could. The most recent basketball activity regarding Parks is that he's been playing professionally in France since 2011. Luol Deng. For much of his 10-year stint in Chicago, Deng was known not only as a go-to scorer, but also one of the league's best lockdown defenders. And while the 2-time All-Star continued to be productive on both ends of the floor during a subsequent stop in Cleveland and Miami, it wasn't until he landed a 4-year, $72 million contract with the Lakers in 2016 that things started to go downhill. That season, Deng was benched to give LA's young core, specifically rookie Brandon Ingram, more playing time, and things only got worse in the 2017-2018 season, with the former Duke standout playing in just 1 game before he was bought out in September. 9 days later, he signed with Minnesota. But so far, his time with the underachieving Timberwolves hasn't been all that successful at 6.6 points and 2.9 rebounds per game. So, maybe worthless is a bit harsh. Every player has some value no matter how bad they are or how little they contribute on the court. Sometimes these players were just on the court at the wrong place and wrong time. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below and share this video with your family and friends. Thanks for watching.